She has Martha Stewart street cred. They've both been in jail. They've done some time, probably have a couple of prison tattoos. Um, Maybe we should have a contest of like, what is Lori Loughlin's prison tattoo?
I
Anyway,
think on these nickels it's PRIV, and on these nickels it's LEGE.
welcome to Garage Sales Unhinged.
Where the characters are as quirky as the finds.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Jake.
Join us as we dive into the wild world of garage sales, yard sales, estate sales, and anywhere secondhand sales are happening.
From bizarre bargains to hilarious haggles.
You won't believe the stories we've got lined up.
Let's get unhinged.
Jake, are you familiar with the Hallmark Channel?
By reputation only. I haven't gotten to it yet, but yeah, that's the channel where they show a lot of like completely cheesy, over the top, cliched stuff, and you know that's they're not making any apologies about it. It's all painful stuff, right?
I mean, okay, clearly you're not their audience or their demographic, so you may call it painful. Other people are like they live for the holiday season where you're going to have the princess that doesn't want to have the royal life and she wants to go work in a bakery, and then you have a prince who doesn't want to take over the kingdom and he just wants to be a normal person, and then they end up meeting in the bakery and it's a love story. Or you have my favorite is the successful career woman who has to go to small town USA to save her family's tree farm and then realizes, oh my gosh, I've been throwing my life away. And then she moves to small town USA, falls in love with the hunky guy, and happily ever after, which call him BS on all of that. Like,
The women realizes, oh no, I need to have chillins.
it's an interesting concept that the Hallmark Channel has cultivated.
Okay.
Well,
What does that have to do with anything? Why are you bringing that up?
well,
Wait, can I just say, you don't strike me as somebody that would watch that unironically.
you are correct.
Okay.
I watch the Hallmark Channel and their shows as if it's a sporting event where you
Okay.
have people, maybe you watch a football game, a basketball game, and you're yelling at the refs, you're yelling at the team. They got to do this thing, and you're yelling at your TV and drinking heavily. I do the same thing whenever I watch the Hallmark Channel. I yell at the people of don't leave your corporate job. Don't move to small town USA. Amazon takes 3 days to deliver there. If you live in corporate land, you get it next day or same day. Like, I yell at the TV. The Hallmark Channel is my sports venue. But also I'm not also their demographic. I really don't want to watch their shows, but I watch it ironically with heavy drinking. So, I bring up the Hallmark Channel because I stumbled across a show that fits in really nicely with our podcast.
Okay.
It's called Garage Sale Mysteries.
Mm.
And I
Oh, GSM. Love it. Yeah.
well, and whenever I first saw the title of it, I was like, "Oh, this has to be good. Like, are they going to get into true crime type stuff? Are they going to be like, where did this object come from? And, like, what's the backstory behind this?"
Ah, the hidden piece of evidence in the murder was a
Yeah.
toothbrush that's for sale for 25 cents kind of thing. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Is
Also,
that
to our
is that not what it is?
well, I'm gonna do a little asterisk here to our listeners. Don't sell used toothbrushes at garage sales. But
Well,
I mean, to each their own, but please don't do that. It's not quite that. So let me set the scene for you. The main actress, her name is Lori Loughlin. Does that sound familiar to you?
yeah, she was in the news a while back. I can't remember what for.
In 2019, she got into some hot water for a bribing incident to get her child into a university.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay, so like commemorated as a Karen. Got it.
Well, so now she has Martha Stewart street cred. They've both been in jail. They've done some time, probably have a couple of prison tattoos. Um, Maybe we should have a contest of like, what is Lori Loughlin's prison tattoo?
I
Anyway,
think on these nickels it's PRIV, and on these nickels it's LEGE.
uh, sorry, it took me a while to realize what you spelled, but I'm there with you. Um, so Lori, was executive producer of this Hallmark series, which again, whenever you're the lead actress and the executive producer and it's on the Hallmark Channel, that is just a perfect storm of lame.
Yeah,
Um,
it seems like you're lining everything up to be pretty self-serving.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
yeah, this is like this really it's an everyman story about a lady who is just doing the best for her kids through extending, reach into her circles of privilege and everything like that, and realizes that to avoid accountability, she should run away with the pirate lumberjack albino. And
You've already seen the show. You're
oh,
ruining
okay,
it.
oh, sorry, spoilers. Okay, all right.
No, so okay, Garage Sale Mysteries, the show is actually based off of some books by an author named Suzi Weinert. She lives in the DC area and she got this idea for her book series because she was going to garage sales and where she lived in the DC area, she was going to garage sales of politicians,
Mm.
diplomats, military,
Oh man, that's
and
juicy.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she would go to these garage sales, talk to these individuals, and she's like, I bet I can make a story out of the stories that she heard from the people that were hosting these sales. Also, it makes me want to go to DC and do some garage sale shopping. So,
Yeah.
Susie, thanks for the promo. Um, so she's written a couple of books like that, and I have not read any of her books, and I will. So to our listeners, I am going to read at least one. But her books and some of the summaries I've read of them, I'm going to say they're more like Nancy Drew mysteries, like a who done it. And it is like I think one of them. I have up her website. I'm going to look at some of them. She has the most recent one out. It's called Woman at the Garage Sale. But she has ones that are called Garage Sale Riddle, Garage Sale Diamonds, Garage Sale Stalker, and it's a layered story, but it's kind of a who done it, and I'm like, "Okay, that sounds pretty good." The Hallmark series of Garage Sale Mysteries, I'm gonna say, is loosely based on the books because the Hallmark Channel is actually family-friendly entertainment.
Okay.
So, you're not gonna have a slasher garage sale murder on the Hallmark Channel. Um, but let me just say this, I downloaded a couple of episodes to my favorite mobile viewing device.
Yeah, to wherever you get your podcast. Right.
And on a recent trip I had, I watched it on the plane.
Right.
And I cannot tell you how badly I wanted to poke my eye out with a peanut on the plane after watching these. It is
It's bad enough that you're watching like a movie on the plane. You're like, and you try to leave the theater. You're like, maybe I can get into a different plane. Maybe I can just.
it's got to be better if I just open the door, right? It's got to be better than this. And I'm going to say this, and I think anyone who has seen a Hallmark show, loves a Hallmark show, watches any of the movies that stream on there, um, you can tell it's a Hallmark show because the way that they laugh. And whenever they laugh, I can't tell if they're like genuinely trying to laugh as part of the storyline or if they're laughing in such a way that they are actually laughing at somebody and it's kind of a real bitchy move. But it's like it is, no joke, probably a 6-second laugh, and the camera zooms in on the people laughing, and it's just and all teeth have to be showing. And then, like, they cut to the next scene, and I was like, "Who is the editor for this show? Did they not think, like, hey, that much laughter is actually setting the
It's
long tone?"
unnatural. Yeah, laughing, scripted laughing is a tough thing because you can't help but approach an uncanny valley when you ask people enjoy this. Yeah, yeah,
So
especially when it's kind of um, unobjectively unenjoyable stuff. If the script's not funny, whether it's Hallmark Channel or something else someone might watch. The point is, people are faking it.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But, like, it's just so they're trying so hard to fake it that again, no, just no, I don't wanna no. Um, I can't say no enough for this thing. But for people that love garage sales, that maybe they love a really good campy show, very cheesy, something that if you're like me and Hallmark Channel is your sports channel, watch the show because you'll yell at it. It's great.
So I
So,
want to make sure I understand the sequence here. You've got the author, and forgive me, I've forgotten her name. Uh,
Suzi Weinert.
Susie Weinert has she lives in the DC area. She goes to a garage sale, and find, and among the experience of browsing is hearing stories of lust and power and revenge and murder. Uh, Surprisingly, at the thing, she goes, "Oh, this would be good fodder for a story," but she's changing enough detail to not get in trouble. She's
I don't think these individuals are telling her all the juicy bits of all this stuff. I think she, as any good author does, takes it and runs with that idea of going, "How can I make this, sensationalize it? How do I" like, you always think of, like, okay, so imagine if, a US spy, they're a spy for the US, not spying against the US,
one of the good ones.
yeah,
Okay.
this
Yeah.
is a patriotic show. Um, Imagine that a spy for the US is having a garage sale because they need to downsize, they're gonna retire, and they come across something of
And
going,
you know,
"Oh my gosh, in this book, they forgot about this film that they took while they were in Moscow," and you just stumble across it, and the book is being sold for $2, but that film is priceless, so you're gonna take that film. Like, I think you just kind of, as any good author, you tell a story, you exaggerate the story a little bit.
I like the idea of going to a retired spy's garage sale, and they have forgotten which of these shoes actually explodes. They don't recall, like, "Oh, don't click that pin, please. Don't touch anything."
What is it? It's a like the Inspector Gadget garage sale of like, "Oh god, this is gonna be," let's just have the fire department standing by.
Yeah.
Are you planning a garage sale, yard sale, or estate sale and need some help? Look no further than Garage Sale Supply. They provide top notch resources and expert advice to help you host the perfect sale. From pricing tips to promotional strategies, they've got you covered. Visit garagesalesupply.com and make your next sale a success.
Um,
But
okay,
and
so
so these books have had enough success that somebody, Lori Loughlin,
Lori
um,
Loughlin.
so Laughlin, um, sees this as an opportunity to get in on the good stuff, buys the rights to some of these things, and washes them down a little bit for Hallmark Channel sensibilities.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
follow it.
So, let me give you a kind of the idea of what this show is about. So the main character of the show is her name is Jennifer Shannon, which you got to question whenever someone has two
Two
first
first
names.
names. Yeah, that does sound like witness protection program type
Oh,
stuff.
yes.
Yeah.
So Jennifer Shannon in the show runs a antique shop called Rags to Riches. And so she will go out to estate sales, yard sales, garage sales. She'll find stuff and then she'll resell it in her shop. And that is a big part of the society that goes to secondhand bargain sales is you have a lot of resellers that they want to buy something that they can then turn around, put a markup on, and that's how they
Mhm.
make their living.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other episode that we could talk about of how that stuff works. So Jennifer Shannon has this uh the shop called Rags to Riches. It's in small town USA, which I'm like, how do you make money in small town USA? But she does it. Um, Her husband is an engineer. I don't know why that makes a difference. And he doesn't play a huge part in the show other than trying to get her out of like like, but he's not really a big part of getting her out of harm's way. He's trying to be the sensible person here.
Right.
Eh, anyway, I just anyway. Um, Jennifer Shannon has a couple of kids in the show. She has her friend Danny, short for Danielle, who's her business partner and co-owner of Rags to Riches.
Mhm.
Um, and then you have a detective, Frank Linwood, and he is a friend of Jennifer Shannon.
Okay.
Okay, so those are your main characters in the show.
Yeah, that's
Um,
okay. Got it.
And it's, it's such a stretch, right? But because Jennifer Shannon has such an eye for detail to find these great finds at estate sales and garage sales, that she is also great at finding the details in crimes and murders.
Oh, okay. So she's got such a sharp eye looking for a great deal that she's actually honed this Sherlock Holmes ability to see things as, clues.
Yeah. So for your crime scene investigators out there who have maybe done years of training and they have years of experience, Jennifer Shannon can outdo you because she can see that the carpet fabric is turned a different way and she can tell that that's where the body was dragged.
So a discerning shopper is actually adept at crime scene investigation.
It's such a stretch. It's such a stretch. And also, there's times where, like, in one episode, she's talking to a gentleman that owns a storage facility.
Okay.
And her and her business partner, Danny, had gone there. It was one of those auctions where you can, auction, you buy one of the storage facilities that has not had payment on it lately.
Right. Yeah, those are great.
And as they lost the first auction to some guy who's like coming in and trying to like buy everybody out um of all the units. Well, in the second auction, she wins, but she sees this one table leg and the way that this filming is done and the editing is done, like they zero in on this one table leg. And so she ends up spending like, I don't know, $900, $1,200 for this unit. And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you don't know if there's anything worth in there for that amount of money. You could have lost $1,200." But as they're cleaning out the unit, she
Yeah.
finds out this is original antique um, piece of furniture, but it's based off of one table leg and like where it connected to the tabletop. And I'm going, "This is
Yeah.
so stupid."
She's looking at it and puts on the fedora again. And she's like, it belongs in a museum, and
Yes. Yes, and it's so
punches the
bad.
guy next to her and swings into the unit. Okay.
So, and I'm giving away the whole plot for the show, but you're not watching it for the plot, you're watching it to drink.
Okay.
So, she goes to pay for the unit to the guy who owns the storage facility, and she sees him in a confrontation with another guy, and then, like, the next day, the owner of this storage facility ends up dead.
Mm.
Well, at first, he's missing,
Okay.
and her friend, Frank, the detective, he calls her, they run into each other and they say, "Yeah, so and so just passed away." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I just saw him yesterday." And she's like, "Well, can I come to over there because like maybe I can help?" And Frank's like, "Jennifer, stay out of this, let the professionals handle it. I don't need you to meddle with this." And then she shows up at the crime scene, right?
Okay.
And then she's like, "Well, can I come in because I was just here, maybe I can help and say like if something was missing." And he's like, "Ugh, Jennifer, okay, well, just this one time." Well, then she comes in, and of course, the whole office is torn apart, and there's a couple of things missing. And again, the camera zooms in on the things that were missing because which things are missing because they zoomed in on those things the day before. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
it's
So
not that hard to figure out.
I do appreciate if the Hallmark Channel is branching out to try to do more genre type stuff beyond your, meet cute rom-com type thing. If they're like, oh, now there's an element of drama, they're going for it. They're trying it.
I'm going to burst that bubble because this show was canceled in 2019 when Lori went to
Oh,
prison and got her prison tats.
oh, this is before that. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
Yeah. Remember, Hallmark is a family-friendly entertainment channel.
No, they can't be associated with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so apparently if you have a prison record, don't work for Hallmark.
Hmm. Seems like a missed opportunity. There needs to be like, Hallmark, you know, after dark.
Well,
It's
but then Lori went to Max and she was on, Curb Your Enthusiasm for a couple episodes. So, like, if you got a prison record, go to HBO Max.
well, yeah, I think that's the natural progression in one's career, you know. But there is
Larry
something I think, if a Hallmark Channel did make kind of more adult oriented programming with more edgier topics and everything like that, it'd be the equivalent of what HBO used to be compared to cable. Yeah.
No, I would totally watch a show of Larry David either hosting his own garage sale or going to a garage sale and haggling with someone.
Oh
Larry
man,
David in that situation would be such a menace to society.
that's great. So do they ever find? So do they find out who did it? Is she
Oh,
actually
yes.
okay?
Yeah, and I mean, the whole it's so it's very cliche, from pretty soon into the show who did it. Granted, these are all professional actors, but oof.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this: Yeah, how was the portrayal of the whole secondhand experience? I mean, I've never been to a storage unit auction. I don't know what that action is like. I know there's the show about it, but from what you've gathered, whether it's just the portrayal of the unit auction or some other garage sale scenario, do they do a good job at least capturing that?
No.
Okay,
No, I mean, so one of the scenes in the movie, like, one of the sets is her rags to riches shop.
okay, and how's that?
It's like any kind of secondhand antique shop. There's stuff everywhere, and they have a back room that's full of crud that they have to sort through, and, um, I can't imagine that there's that many people coming into her shop to make big purchases. So, one of the things in this show, I will say it gives you a little bit behind the scenes, is that she has some customers that say, "Hey, Jennifer, I'm looking for a specific piece to match my other antique furniture in the house." And she'll be like, "Okay, well, because she goes to so many estate sales and yard sales and stuff, she's like,
And
"I'll be on the
crime
lookout for it."
scenes, yes.
Crime scenes. And, so I was like, "Okay, that makes sense for people that are looking for very specific, unique items, and they don't have the time to go and look for it themselves. These secondhand, resale shops can help
So
you
she's a
find."
she's a legit problem solver. Whether it's finding the right thimble to round out your whole set of collectible thimbles that your grandmother didn't complete, but she kind of gave it to you, or if it's finding out where this decapitated head actually goes. Uh, she's your gal.
Yeah, she can do it all. It's so I don't know if our listeners can hear the bad taste in my mouth from the show, but it is she can do it all. She, because her husband's an engineer, I don't think her shop actually makes enough money, but
Yeah.
her husband's an engineer, so they're okay because he can fit their lifestyle, and they live in a beautiful and gorgeous home, but for whatever reason, they sleep in a queen size bed with a really funky looking art decoration above it. Anyway, um, it's just the sets in there are not top dollar. The storylines are just a struggle. I feel like and these were done before ChatGPT became a really big thing, but I feel like someone was like, "Hey, I need a script for garage sale mysteries. Jennifer Shannon's my main character. She owns rags to riches, and this time the murder is going to be that someone got shot while grocery shopping. Can you give me a script?" And then whatever ChatGPT threw out, they're like, "Golden, let's go make it happen." And it's just and not good.
So, well, if it if the show was canceled, how long did it run?
Let me look at that. Let's see, there's 15 films, so there was sorry, these are,
Oh, films.
made for TV movies.
Awesome.
So there was 15 films aired from 2013 until 2019, and I
Okay.
watched, 3 or 4 of them, and that is time I'm never going to get back, and I would like for everyone to recognize my sacrifice that I
We
did for
yeah,
this.
it is appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, mhm. Um, so yeah, it's just if people and we have people that listen to this show that love garage sales, they love estate sales, they love yard sales, watch the show. And it also people may also really like the Hallmark Channel. You can't I haven't seen it to where it shows up on like the live programming for the Hallmark Channel. You have to do it streaming. So whenever I did it, I am a Prime member, so I was able to do like a free, like introductory week of streaming of Hallmark Channel. So I did that, and yeah, I got
It's
my
good.
money's worth.
It's good for that. You probably feel differently if you had, spent money on the whole matter. The whole thing reminds me of like some news came out not that long ago about Chick-fil-A is getting back into the streaming thing. They're actually going to launch their own streaming service. I'm not sure exactly how or where you find it, but they'd have their own original programming. And it seems like, you're mentioning kind of the, the cutesy, kind of, safe. We're skirting anything too edgy here uh, vibe of the Hallmark Channel. I think that's kind of what you'd get out of Chick-fil-A too. I'm presuming they won't let you watch their programming on Sundays. That's the way it should be. That's what the good Lord wants, is for you to not do that and not enjoy waffle fries on the day that it makes most sense to enjoy them. But uh, I'm honestly, I think I'm kind of down for shows that give themselves enough creative constraints. You know, hey, this show's got to be about murder. There's got to be some implicit violence in this thing, but we can't show any of it. We can't say certain things. We can't have genuine reactions. We can't really portray trauma, but we need to solve some problems. And that's a fun, creative challenge. Even if it doesn't go well, to your point, it's something to have fun suffering through.
Yeah. It's one of those, ah, it's a show. It is such a show. But part of me as I was watching going, "This is for research. It's for research, Julie. Just do it." But, yeah, also, I was looking at their Wikipedia page, except for the actresses that play Jennifer Shannon, which is Lori Loughlin, and Sarah Strange plays Danny, her business partner. All of the other actors, have changed from 2013 to 2019, so they're whoever started the series didn't necessarily end up with the series. Detective Frank Linwood was not actually in the first episode. He and the actor Kevin O'Grady that plays him, um, shows up after that episode and then stays with it until 2019. But
Time to start a Wikipedia page about what's canon and what's not canon for this show. Like the entire Detective Frank Linwood thing is not canon. He wasn't there originally. This is actually a dream sequence from episode 2 onward. There's like anything involving the detective is alternate timeline. It's dark Sarah or dark whoever. Yeah. Yes.
oh, I also forgot a major point of this. Okay, so Jennifer Shannon has she's not part of the police department. She's not former military. She is regular citizen. She consistently goes into the coroner's office to get details about these murders that took place.
That's
And the
great.
coroner's just like, "Hey, Jennifer, good to see you again." And he's like, I have cookie, I have candies. He's eating all the time. Yeah, in a coroner's office. And she can look at she's like, "Oh, can I see, the victim?" He's like, "Sure.
Yeah, why not? This is your
This is
tax
not
dollars
gonna
are at
hold up
work
in
here.
court."
This is actually, you've paid for these services. Absolutely. You want to look like, yeah, here's the body. That is actually a good policy.
Oh god. Anyway, there's
So
just
she
so
can,
much about it that I'm like, any half-witted lawyer would be like, "Yeah, we're gonna get this thrown out. You can't have a citizen trampling over the crime scene, handling evidence." It's just,
Julie, this is not just any citizen. This is an entrepreneur woman who operates for extra riches.
thank thanks. Appreciate that, Jake. Anyway, wanted to make everyone aware that there's this garage sale mysteries show out there. I keep saying show, it's made for TV movie. It's Hallmark Channel. Get your beer, get your whiskey, start yelling at the TV like I do, watching that, and enjoy the heck out of some mind numbing television.
Hmm. I do kind of like the idea that, The truth is, though, when you hold a garage sale, you go to a garage sale. In some respects, it can be fun. It can be exciting. It can also be a little bit tense. You might have a little anxiety because, in a lot of ways, yeah, you're totally opening your home, your history, your stories to total strangers, and sometimes even worse, to people that you do know. And there's a lot to infer from the stuff people have. The
Yeah.
fact that they got it, the condition it's in, that they're trying to get rid of it or not, or what price they're putting it on. It's a pretty vulnerable thing to do. And it's not bad as far as the concept goes, as being like, oh hey, there's if you could actually read between the lines as to what the story is, what's actually going on here. Um, the concept kind of works. The execution, maybe not.
Well, so here's the thing. Here, I think what we're kind of skirting around the whole thing is Suzi Weinert built the American dream. She went to a
We have her
garage
to blame. Okay.
she went to a garage sale, had a really good idea, said, "Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? I think I'm gonna write some books off of this concept." Made it happen, then sold the TV rights to the Hallmark Channel, and, like, Susie did it. Like, we all hear these great stories whenever we go to garage sales, estate sales, all that stuff, and she took it, spun it a little bit, and then, like, made a career out of it, and kudos to Susie.
Yeah.
I'm looking up to her.
Let me
Lori
know.
Loughlin needs to
Yeah, maybe not so much. Let me know when you try one of the books out. I wonder how they track against the Hallmark versions of the whole thing.
I have a couple books that I'm reading for the podcast, so hers will be in the mix for an upcoming episode.
Should I ask you what else you're reading?
No,
Okay.
it's gonna be a surprise.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you for the recommended viewing. Talk to you next time.
Bye.